Evening, everyone. Evening, everyone. Hope you're all well. Back for a Friday night extravaganza, if you could call it that, really, I suppose. I think the way these two are going to go off with the handle, it might be anyway. But anyway, welcome to everyone. Thanks for being here today. And again, I've got to say it. Sorry, Sheriff. I was going to say this. Hello to all the grandkids. I'm going to just say that now. Hello to all the grandkids. Thanks for watching, grandkids.
There you go.
Big up to everyone in the chat who's in. Big up to Nige for being in. How are you, Nige, first of all? How are you, fella?
I'm good. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. Yeah, I'm good. How are you, chaps?
Sheriff?
All's good, mate. All's good. All is good. It's cold and rainy.
Yeah, same here.
We had that storm thing, whatever it was called, began with
Yeah.
G, didn't it?
Yeah. How was the old wind coming through there, Sheriff?
It was a bit windy, mate.
It was, yeah.
It was bin day as well, so there's a few bins and that blowing about.
Yeah. We had a bit of snow up here.
Bins.
We had a bit of snow up here last night from about 9 till about 1 in the morning. Yeah, something like that. Sort of, I don't know, whatever. The depth of your shoe tread on your, you know what I mean? It was just a covering more than anything else. But yeah, it was a little bit white up here last night, but then it turned to rain and it's all washed away pretty much. It's all gone now.
That's it. That's the blizzard done with.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's gone well
for
the moment. Anyway, we're only January, Sheriff. You never know. Know. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Chaps. I don't know what to say really. After that result the other day, I'm gonna let you two get stuck in a minute. I think Phil's coming in a bit as well. Philly's coming in for a chat as well. We'll get into it. Mark, I know you want to steam into it, but I'm gonna let the guests go first, if that's all right.
Should we just say hello to a few people?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, how rude am I? Sorry. Say hello.
Yeah. No. Who did he say he was? His name's changed. He said he was someone the other night. I'm too senile to remember.
No, I can't remember what he said. But evening to you. Evening to you.
Yeah. Good evening, whoever you are. That's that 19-year-old, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah.
We know.
The Queen. We got to stand up, salute.
Nice to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Susan.
I'm lost.
Know nothing about him, to be honest.
No. So, Sousa, the fella that's coming from Brazil. Yeah.
Mr. Gregory.
Big up, Andrew. Hope you're well, mate.
Big up, Andrew.
And
Dominica, big up. Big up.
Dominica.
Hope you're well. So, thanks for being in, everyone. We appreciate it. Hopefully a few more will join soon as we get going.
Yeah.
I'll let Mark simmer for a bit. Nige, I don't know, a bit about the Bournemouth game, and we'll move on. We've got lots of subjects to talk about, but Bournemouth game to start off with. What were your thoughts, mate, overall?
You know what? Honestly, I actually thought we were better against Bournemouth. We created a few chances. You know, we wasn't as negative as we have been, but I feel like whenever Frank opens up to attack, you know, when he plays a little bit more attacking, that's when we seem to concede a lot of goals.
Yeah,
it's almost like we can't do one without the other one suffering. So if we attack, we concede. If we defend, we do nothing going forward. Which sounds obvious, I know, but it's we looked okay going forward, created a few chances, but defensively, all over the place. And just disappointing, because I think Bournemouth would have taken. The fact they hadn't won since October kind of says it all.
Yeah. Mark, before you get into your rant, the Bournemouth game, generally, just your thoughts on it, your general thoughts?
To be honest, the first 10 minutes, we were on fire.
Yeah.
quite well. And then it was the same old thing. We just sat off them. And you notice the 2 goals they scored before half time, it all come from like second balls.
Yeah.
And how much space did their players have?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, where was the defending? You know, it was.
Well, Romero went walkabout for the first one, didn't he?
Yeah, there was just the 2 players that scored. All right, it was a second like phase, but there was no one covering them. They were just stood there on their own, basically. And I was like,
basics.
What the hell? Yeah, it's this basics of football. You got to pick your man up. All right, you can get right up with clever movement and whatever, but they never really had to do that. You know, it's just so disappointing. It's like Niger. They were there for the taking, man. They haven't won since bloody October.
Yeah.
How many times we said that this season, though? You know, the other team are there for the taking, and we never do it.
Dr. Tottenham turns up again.
Oh yeah, and Semenyo turns up with a winner.
Well, it had to be. It was his birthday, and it was
absolutely written in the stars, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was written in the stars.
Absolutely written in the stars.
Yeah, it's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. It's like Nigel said. Why can't we have a mix of attack and defence? Because as soon as we start pushing forward, like we did try to in that game, but we just get caught out. There seems to be, like, to me, none of the players are really playing for him anymore. I think they've just given up with it. I mean, put it this way, I don't blame him entirely because the majority of it's got to go on the owners. It's not his fault that he's just been left with a mix of 5 managers, teams.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of players, some of them were even bought for bloody Conte, weren't they?
Listen, from what I'm reading today, Mark, half of them want out.
Yeah, well, I've read this as well, mate. You know, they're all fed up.
Yeah.
I mean, and to me, that's not a slight on Frank. That's a slight on the club. You know, because these players, like, and you notice it's the better ones as well, Van der Ven, Romero, I forget the others that I read, but like, yeah, you know, I mean, that's a slight on the club because they can see where we're going. And from what I can see, it's down the bloody toilet. You know, because the owners were just a business now. We got the cash cow, money-making stadium, you know, and until something changes at board level, you know, we get someone in this actually. This is after they promised us in the summer when we won the Europa League.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the start. We want to be successful. Well, there's not much evidence of it so far.
No. Well, just from our 2 Pennyforth, you know what my stance on it was after Daniel Levy left. I was prepared to give Enoch that, you know, let them show a bit of that intent in January. Then we'll go in, you know, we'll get to where we get to at the end of the season and we'll go again in the summer. Yeah. But the intent has been shown for me. Do you know what I mean? Putting in a baseline bid for a kid in Brazil they've been negotiating for 9 days for, right? He's not. What's the chances of him coming in, landing, and you know he's got a pretty poor injury record for a 19-year-old kid as well. He might be wonderful. I'm not, and good luck to him. He's a Tottenham player now. You know, I just like that is not intent for me.
No.
Do you know what I mean? That's not intent. You know, and I've got to admit, I know it's Spurs are all the same all the time, and most of it's hope. And it is, and it's hope. You think, go on then, now's the time. And we get to whatever it is, 10 days within the transfer window, and on the 10th day, we've signed a 19-year-old kid for pretty much pennies and tried to lowball that deal as well, by the sound of it. You know? So
when I saw our first offer going in and it was like a lowballing thing, I thought, is Levy still here?
There you go.
Only offered like 12 million. Or 10 million or something for Trossard.
Yeah. And it's just so frustrating, though, that that you look at Arsenal last season. I hate talking about Arsenal. You look at Arsenal in the summer. Yeah, they weren't interested in Eze. We had Eze signed, sealed, and delivered. He was coming to Spurs. Arsenal get an injury to Havertz. Bang! Within 24 hours, Eze's an Arsenal player.
Yeah.
We sell Johnson. We have no plan. Kudus then gets injured the next game, and 10 days later, we're still waiting for a right-sided player to come in.
Yeah.
Says it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. At the end of the day, you can blame Thomas Frank for the pragmatic football. I think you can. And I think both of you are spot on, Nige, when you say about there's no happy medium down the middle. You know, our forwards are poor. We know that. We keep moaning about the midfield. A lot of people moan when he plays Paulinia and Bentancur together over and over again, you know, whether it be home and away. You know, you put Gray in there, you put a Bergvall in there. Sarr hasn't really had a look in, you know, amongst all that. And now, like I was just saying to Mark before you joined in the back, Nige, we are struggling now, player-wise.
Mm-hmm.
In midfield this weekend, we're struggling. You know, you've got two DMs in what you would call Paulinia and Gray. Yeah, who else is fit in the midfield that's left that you can put in? You know, we was talking about he might even play with a free. Who knows? He might go free at the back, you see, so then he can play Spence and Porro further up. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, we'll have to stay silent for a bit here, Nige, because I know Philly had his little rant the other day, but I know Mark's been brewing this week. I know he has.
No, not really, mate.
But I know. But you've been, tell the people what you want, mate. Tell them. You know, you're not happy with Thomas Frank, are you? At the end of the day,
No.
You're not happy. You're not happy with the football that's being played, and you can see one vision, and or the vision that you would like.
Yeah, well, Thomas Frank to me is just boring. You know, yes, yeah. Has he sorted our defence out? Yes. Without a shadow of doubt. But are we still conceding stupid goals? Yes. No, we're not getting ripped apart at the back anymore for having two back there most of the game. But it's still shambolic, isn't it? You know, I mean, Bournemouth had 6 points off us this year. 6 points they've had off us.
Yeah.
Bournemouth. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And I'm not going to go on Thomas Frank outright rant because he can only he's got to put up with what he's inherited. You know, and most of that goes on the board.
Yep.
Now, we all welcome the fact when a certain Daniel left the club, because that's what we all went to the protest for, getting him out. But really, it should have been get Enoch out as well.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, because have things improved since Daniel was kicked into touch? No. And to me, they've got worse. You know, I mean, you got to look at, we brought in Langer, whatever his name is. I didn't see Villa putting up a fight to keep him. They weren't outraged when he left, were they?
No.
It was like, see you then.
That's all.
You know, he's been absolutely next to useless. Like, Paratici is apparently going to Fiorentina, isn't he? So what the hell's he still doing here? The whole club ain't got a clue. There's no plan in place. There's no plan. Like, they must have known before Christmas that they were going to sell Brennan Johnson. They must have done. So where was the preparation to bring in another right-sided player? You know, not that Brennan Johnson was a right-sided player of mine. Because as I said, he was always better as a second striker. But that left us with Kudos on the right. Now where's he? He's on the sick bed till, what, March at least?
Yep.
You know, there's no plan. There's no plan. Now, as far as Thomas Frank goes, I'd stick with him till the end of the season. I'm not expecting nothing from this season. You know, hopefully we beat Villa tomorrow. I'd like to see us go on a little cup run, but you know as well as I do, as soon as we come up against one of the big boys, not the Villa ain't a big boy, because they are, but as soon as we go up against a City or bloody Liverpool, see you then. That's that. You know, 1991, the last time we won the FA Cup. Someone told me then, after I'd seen 3 cup wins and another final in 10 years, that'd be the last time we won it. I thought they were smoking like funny stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in the summer, now you know what I want. I make no.
I ain't got no idea what you want, mate.
Well, you know exactly.
No idea.
No. In the summer after the World Cup, bring Pochettino back.
Yeah.
Right. He will unite the fans immediately because everybody loves him. Everybody loves Poch. And then the fans then will see what the board's like, and hopefully they won't turn on Poch. The fingers will be pointing at Vinay and whoever else it is. Joe Lewis's kids. I say Joe Lewis's kids are both older than me. They're both older than all of us. They're in their 60s, aren't they?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I mean, this isn't a Thomas Frank problem. This problem with the club has been going on since Enoch got her. Since Enoch got her. Because if you remember when they first turned up, we're here to make money. We're here to make money. There's nothing about the history and the success of the club, and you know, there's nothing about that. We're here to win money. We're here to earn money. We'll make money, and that's it. That's all they're interested in. Why do you think the stadium was built? Allegedly, it was the game changer, and it was going to lead us to signing top players. When are they coming in? The last truly world-class player we actually signed, was Klinsmann. Because he was at his pomp when we signed him, just after the '94 World Cup in America, and we signed him. That was the last one that made me go, wow. All right, we've had Harry Kane and Gareth Bale and that, but they was only kids and they came through. You know, but like the ambition of the club is non-existent. It's non-existent. It's just spreadsheets and bank balances.
I think it's been drilled into us, Mark. You know, I think we've just accepted over these past few years and longer. You know, that a player comes in, we do we try and get behind them, blah, 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 and so on. Big up, Barbaric. And I think it's just gone on for so long now. The standards, not just of the players that are coming in, but because it's been drummed into the fans over the years, the standard level now of what we accept to be what would be a decent player for Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? It's gone off the Richter scale. People talking about all these top class players. They're not coming to us. They won't come to us.
No.
They're just not going to. So it is going to be, I don't like using the word rebuild, build. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I don't. But it's not just on the pitch. It's up there as well, and it's everywhere. And we just, at the moment, we're knackered. We can improve what's going on the pitch. I said to Mark, you could sack a manager, probably bring a manager in, bit of a new bounce, bit maybe different style of football, bit more attacking. It might appease a few more of the fans. But it don't mean you're going to finish up there in a European place. It just means it might look a bit prettier on the pitch. The results might be the same. You win a few, you lose a few. But I think we've got to go through the short-term pain for the long-term gain. But for that, they've got to be on board at the top. And if they're not going to be on board, get lost and sell it to someone who wants to own a football club that wants to win things and make money at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. That's it.
You know, I mean, they must have known, because I believe Brendan Johnson was on his way 1st of January. And so they must have known, like Christmas, that he was going to leave. Where was the plan to go and get a right-sided, a right-sided player?
Apparently the Johnson thing, so I've heard, it was a bit of an opportunist thing. You know, they got an offer and it was just like, oh, we've got an offer, should we take it? But even then, surely they would be like, okay, well, we've got the offer, we'll accept it, but let us get someone in first. And I'm not saying keep Johnson, but don't sell him with no plan.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Did I read on the board today as well, on the board upstairs, there's 13 people. I'm sure I read it. Someone in the chat might be able to put me right. I don't know. I'm sure I read this. There's 13 non-executives on the board upstairs across it. And apparently none of them have got a Scooby-Doo about football.
None of them
Not one of them. Not one of them. So there's not going to be a plan, is there? How can there be a plan? You know, because the plan has to come right from the top. You know, the puppet masters, if you like, they're the ones that need to speak to these people that they're employing below them, yeah, and making CEO and making this, that, the other, and saying, well, come on, then you've all got a club together, come up with a plan, whatever it be, 3-year, 5-year plan, so that we can go to the fans and say, look, this is what we're going to try and do. And that less people would understand, and even if the goals were not as high as what some people would want, no one knows how things progress. But just come out and tell us. I think that's the biggest thing, that the fans, you know, not necessarily in the know, but no one says anything.
Well, what were we told in the summer, Cookie? What were we told in the summer when I come in? He was this massive, just amazing communicator, and he was going to communicate with the fans exactly what's going on at all times.
Yeah,
we've not heard from him since the summer.
You notice we only heard from him then because we won the Europa League.
Yeah.
Now things are a bit nonsense. He's gone into hiding. You know, I agree with what you said, Mark. If they came out and said, right, say, for instance, they get Poch back after the World Cup in the summer. Poch comes in and Vinay or whoever come out and said, right, we should never let him go in the first place. This is what we're going to do for the 4 or 5 years of his contract. Right. And say it. You're not going to please everybody, but he said it and you got to accept it.
Mm.
You know, but they don't say nothing. They don't say nothing. Put it this way, right? Now, especially now, I have never, ever felt more disconnected with the club I've supported since I was born, because I had no choice, than I do now. Never. I thought last year was bad. I'm not bothered about watching us.
As a club, as you know, like you say, they should come out and tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
But also be sensible. Don't come out and say we want to win Champions League, we want to win Premier League. Say, over the next 5 years, this is where we want to go. We want to hit this target in the first year, top 10 finish or whatever. Like you say, it won't please everyone, but at least we know realistically where we're heading, instead of just being like,
next 5 years,
we want to win Champions Leagues.
Yeah, within the next 5 years, we want to be consistently back in the top 4.
That's a start, isn't it? From where we are now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we all know that takes money, players, everyone to be on the same hymn sheet, you know, for it to be made possible for that to happen. Do you know what I mean? There's no good them saying one thing upstairs. They're trying to do something else downstairs on the pitch. You know, there's no sign. There's not any signings coming in. Everyone knows we drastically need surgery. Even surgery now. I'm not even talking about, you know, going on the upward, just a bit of surgery, because we are struggling big style for players, big style for players. So, I don't know what we're going to do about it. I think it's going to, like I say, it's going to be a pain game, and it's going to be hard because, a lot of the youngsters today, it's like, I want it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, sack him then, get someone else in, make it happen, but people have to understand that this team needs so much surgery, the whole thing. And whether we believe it'll happen, I said to you lads, that I'll give Enoch a chance more for me, because they've shown me straight away that, 9 days over the Brazilian lad and trying to lowball that, it's just like, nah, nothing's changed. We're 10 days in, and they might go and try and get in a super duper signing, but one ain't going to make no difference.
No,
it ain't going to make no difference.
All right, I know he's injured, but I know he's injured, but hypothetically, if he wasn't injured, I would expect us to be banging on Man City's door about Savinho.
He's injured, isn't he?
I know. I said hypothetically.
Yeah.
I know he's injured now.
Yeah,
but that's the sort of signings I want to see coming in. Not 18-year-old kids that I've never heard of from Brazil.
It's all too late, though, isn't it? Already, like you say, we're 10 days in. By Saturday night, our season's done. If we lose to Villa, season's over.
Yeah.
If we could have got a couple of players in for that Villa game, who knows? But like you say, we are now struggling with injuries. We've got literally no midfield. We have to play Paulinho and Gray, and we haven't got much up front either. I don't see where we win the game from.
See, to me, and I know I'm a bit of an old romanticist when it comes to this type of thing, but I think we're getting to the stage now where we're going to be relying closely. If we get any more injuries, we're going to be relying on a 16-year-old kid to come in young Luca Williams-Barnett, and hoping that he's going to turn out to be some saviour. And I don't want pressure on kids like that, Nigel. I don't think that that's the way that they should be coming in. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you put a kid in the limelight, do you know what I mean? And they turn into a man and away they go. They're absolutely wonderful. But it's very rare, isn't it? It's very rare.
Gareth Bell, for instance.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we answer this?
Yes, Andy, we are. We are back. 100% we're back, sir. Yes.
We had a bit of a sabbatical.
Yeah.
Because, I was working all the time and Mark's not been very well. And plus, the state of Tottenham, we couldn't be bothered to come on it.
No.
But we both had to give ourselves a bloody good talking to.
Yeah, we have. Absolutely, we have. And we're back. So I don't know that we'll be on every day or anything like that.
We won't be on every day, mate.
We will endeavour to get on as often as possible.
Yeah, because everybody else is on, and you got to find a slot.
Yeah, there is that.
It's pointless us going match days or match day after the match and all that, because
yeah,
it's pointless. So we normally leave it. Whenever we play, you normally say a couple of days after we'll do a show.
Yeah.
Because we always sort of try and look when, it's pointless going on if there's loads of other Spurs channels on. What's the point?
So we try and fill the gaps a little bit. We know Friday night's a little bit quiet. Saturday night can be a little bit quiet. Just all depends really when there's a bit of news.
It won't be tomorrow, will it? Because
it's going to be mental tomorrow.
No, tomorrow night it will be. But generally, we play on a Sunday, and a lot of people don't stream on a Saturday night, do they?
Yeah. So. And I have actually done some research, which is a first.
Excellent.
Tomorrow night's game is on BBC One.
All right. Okay.
Nice. You can actually watch it. Lovely.
Yeah. So everybody, if you're in this country, everybody can watch it. But even if you're not, you can still get it. It's on the iPlayer as well.
Okay. Yeah, I don't do iPlayer. So, I'll watch it. No.
Yeah. But there'll be none of that, paying for Sky or watching it through some other means that we won't talk about.
Yeah.
There's none of that needed tomorrow. It's on BBC One.
Absolutely. So my next question is, chaps, are we in crisis? Are we that team that finishes 17th, 16th, 15th, down the bottom area of the table this season? And what do we do? Let's forget about the old, just for a moment, let's forget about, we know it's rotten from top to bottom. Let's just concentrate on the pitch for a minute. What do we need in this next 20 odd days to, like Andy says, a bit further down the bottom, is the season over? You know what I mean? If we can get through tomorrow, and I know, we're probably living in pie land here, but if we can get through tomorrow and get a couple through the door, where do we go this season from here? Are you still hopeful for anything, or are we where we are because that's where we are? That's where we should be for the players that we've got.
Yeah, for me, we are where we are because we deserve to be that. We finished, don't want to harp on about last season, but we finished 17th last season. We're not any better this season. As much as we had to go at Ange, and maybe rightly so, you look back at it and you think maybe I was a bit harsh, because actually we're not looking any better under a different manager, really. And where do we go from here? I think we've got to accept as fans that we are a mid to lower half Premier League side at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We look at teams like Villa and Newcastle, and I hear so many fans have been like, oh, we should be beating them. We aspire to be Villa. We aspire to be Newcastle. They're proper clubs. They're run properly. We are not. We are so far off it. And as much as I'm not a fan of Frank, I was up for supporting him. And I know what you said earlier, Cookie, about, not the young people wanting it now, when I was very much like, no, I'm going to support Frank. He's got the season. But I'm watching this football and I'm like, I'm not sure how much more I can take. So I am a bit like, let's get him out. Let's get someone else in. But I think whoever comes in is going to have major issues, because I just don't think we're very good.
And I'm with that. And that's why I'm a bit fearful, because to a degree, I agree with Mark about Poch, right? But the problem is with Poch, it's not so much him, it's who he's still working for. If Enoch is still there, I would imagine his tenure won't be any different, how he's treated wise, than whether Levy was there or not. I really don't. Now, if you said to me, Enoch are not going to be there, all day long. All day long. I don't want to see his reputation tarnished by a board that don't know what they're doing. And I know he never won anything, but he played very nice football. We was up the top of the table for 2 or 3 years, and he got us to a Champions League final. Whether he made mistakes for not talking about that part of it, but we were relevant, and it was up to Enoch at that point to push us on and make us even more relevent.
And
more than anything, Cookie, we are proud to be a Spurs fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can I just say, firstly, have you read this comment here, mate? That made me laugh. and secondly, going back my specialised subject, when Poch was here as our manager, I'll give you an example. I used to go over my local for a beer, and being there, Tottenham were playing, and there was the usual mix. There was United fans in there was a few Arsenal fans, there was Chelsea fans, quite a few Leeds fans, to be honest, which is amazing living where I do. But, they were a bit older than me, and Leeds were a massive side in the 70s. But like especially the Arsenal and the Chelsea fans, I'd go in for years and years. I had to put up with ridicule, piss taking, general sort of bloke stuff when you go in a pub. But when Poch was our manager, I walked in with my Spurs shirt on, and you could see there was respect.
People parted to let you to the bar.
Yeah, he made me proud to be a Tottenham fan, because whatever team we were playing, if there was one of their fans in there that I knew or something like that, I fancy a pint on next week's game, and you'd see them look, You'd be like, yeah, go on. And I used to say, do you want to get me it now? Because I knew we were going to beat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you, mate.
And that's the way it was. And
yeah,
the reason we never won nothing under Poch is Enoch. That's all it was. Poch cried out for a rebuild, and so they sacked him. Because he knew. He knew. And if, big if, he was to come back in the summer, I believe the whole fan base would be behind him. And if they saw the nonsense, like if this was January, if he was here next January and we just signed one 19-year-old kid from Brazil, the protests would be going on up and down the street. Because everybody knows the way he was treated last time when he got us that close to winning the league. And if we'd have had 2 or 3 other players, and they weren't massive like contracts like they are now, if Enoch could give him 3 20 million pound players, 60 million, that's all it would have took, and we'd have won them leagues. The year Leicester won it and the year Chelsea won it. We would have done, I'm convinced, but no. They just accepted that we were in the top 4, and that was good enough. That was good enough.
Problem is now is that I agree with you for most of that. I do think Poch made a couple of mistakes. Semi-final playing Sonny at wing back, whatever. Playing Vorm in goal wasn't great. But I just think you looked at our team then. How much would it cost us to build a side like that now? And the other teams are so much better. Yeah. I'd love Poch back, but I just think it's even more difficult than ever to be successful. And maybe the Lewis kids have seen that. I don't know. I've not seen them at the stadium for a while. They don't show pictures of them anymore. But maybe the Lewis kids have looked at it and go, you look at Arsenal, again, 6-7 seasons, spent over £1 billion building a side, and they still haven't won a league yet. We're going to have to spend that kind of money to even be in the mix, in the conversation. Are they willing to do that?
But they're going to have to be.
Well, but they can have to be. Either that or sell up.
Yeah.
That's where I am with it now, Nigel, unfortunately. Sorry to butt in, Mark. I'm exactly the same. You got 20 days, to show some intent. I don't think anyone believes you're going to get in 4 or 5 players to make this squad any different. I think they've made it difficult on themselves by not doing their job from last September to now. That's what you employ scouts for. Yeah. They'll go and find you players. You put those players to whatever, or they've been given a thing, look for this player. You take them players back to them. Then they do their work. They're obviously not bloody doing their work, are they? Or if they are doing their work, they're trying to bring the wage bill down even lower. Because they've just saved themselves basically another, 85 grand. Johnson's out and for 85 grand, and this kid's in for what? I don't know what he's going to be on. 5 grand?
Like 4,000.
I saw 4 grand written down. I saw 4 grand in a thing, 4 grand a week, this kid. And do you know what I mean? So they've just saved themselves another 80, 85, whatever. I don't know what Johnson was on up there somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So, the wage bill's still coming down. Investment in players, we can go on about Paulinia and that, Are they going to sign Paulinia at 31 for £25 million? They're not, are they? We'd all sit here and say, sign him now, or a lot of us would, just to have that stable DM. I know he's not pretty, but he gets about and he puts the fires out, and that's what he's very good at.
You need experience.
And it's experience, and we need men, and we need, not necessarily a team of leaders, but just because Joe Bloggs is captain, it doesn't mean there can't be 4 or 5 other, leading men on the pitch directing. I don't understand why that can't happen. But, like Mark said, and you've said many a time, Nigel, the more time passes, the more I just don't think they're interested in football. I just don't. Or in winning, they're interested in the money and everything that it brings. Yeah, and if you win a trophy on the way, all well and good. Yeah, but I really don't think that they're in it to win the FA Cup, to win the Champions League, to win whatever. I just don't think they're in it for it. And the Sousa deal tells me that, unfortunately. So, 20 days left, and see what they've got.
And not making Polina, like not signing him full time, for me is absolutely mental. I think he's the best midfielder we got. People say he's limited, but this is a guy. How many goals he got? Five goals. Important goals as well.
Yeah.
And he's doing the job of probably 3 men in that midfield on his own. And I think he's amazing. I love Polina. I think he's brilliant. I got a question for you guys. Did anyone, and the chat as well, did anyone see, obviously, the game against Bournemouth in midweek? Did you see the team talk before the game? Did you see him in the huddle?
No, I can't. No, go on. No.
Because I did notice, like, they're in the huddle, and the one that was talking was Van der Ven.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is the captain not talking? I mean, I know people say he don't speak. He speaks good enough English to be able to do a team talk. I don't understand why Van der Ven is doing all the talking. I just find it strange that Van der Ven was doing it, and I know he's vice captain, but
is it the English part of it? Maybe I don't know. I'm not saying that's right if it's right, but can Van der Ven get the message over easier when they're all in a huddle? Is his English better than? I don't know. I'm just playing to I don't know.
Can I just answer this one a minute, mate?
Yeah.
I've been scrabbling about in the background looking for it.
Yeah.
And on YouTube, for some reason, the join button is not showing on the thing, mate.
Don't know. Pass. I ain't touched none of it.
It might be no. I ain't touched nothing either. But
no.
And I can't remember how to get the bloody link up to join. I did it once. I know I did.
Is it not on the community page or down there?
Hang on. Yeah. Well, you crack on a minute, and I will.
Yeah, all right, mate. No worries. Yeah. So.
I will look out for you.
You what, mate?
Yeah, it's in the description page. Click on the description page. It's in there.
There you go.
What on the description for the video
for your show? Go to the more bit.
Oh, here we go.
Now in links.
What's that?
Memberships. Here we go. Right. Here we go. Right. Cheers,
thanks, Nige. Ta, mate.
Right, Andy. I'm just copying and pasting it, and I'll put it in the chat.
Nice one. Cheers, Nige. Thanks, Mark. And to everyone else that's in here, please like and please subscribe to the channel, and please do the same. Please subscribe over to Nige. How are you getting on with your subs, Nige? Because I haven't looked, to be honest with you. How are you getting on?
It's slow as always, but it's 1,300, so it's all right. It's all good.
Right, brilliant.
Next target's 1,400.
That's
so
it.
Yeah,
just keep going on. I think we still haven't got to 700 yet. I think we was on about 680 odd when we started tonight. So subscribers, likes, and again, at the end of the video, if you've got any questions that you put in and we didn't answer for whatever reason, put comments in the chat, guys.
Here's one here, mate.
Yeah.
Do you think we should go for Wilson from Fulham? He's left-footed.
He's a tidy player. But then again, it goes on about like he's a Wales international, right? We're talking about Harry Wilson, I take it, yeah, at Fulham. Is that what we're talking about? Yeah. So he's decent on the ball. 100% he's decent on the ball. I think he's I wouldn't say he was lightweight, but he's like that sort of in between, which is fair enough. He's a decent player. I think at the moment, recognised Premier League players that can come in, do a job for Tottenham, and I'm not saying Harry Wilson, and I'm not saying not to Harry Wilson, but we need to get some, like I said earlier, some men in who know the Premier League a little bit. If they don't know the Premier League, they've played at a very decent level. And players that can come in, settle, bond, push us, like Andy said. If we get knocked out of Champions League, there's no reason not to push for a Europa League spot next season.
I said
You know,
that at the beginning of the year, mate.
everything is congested in the middle of the table. You know, Newcastle were 14th the other day. Couple of wins, they're up to 6th.
I said that the other day before the season started, and we'd done our things for this season.
Yeah.
I said, let's get back in the top 6 or 7.
Yeah. If
Get
I remember
Europa League.
rightly, I was an 8th man. I thought if 8th qualified you, and I know people don't want to hear it, Conference League, but I thought if he got any Europe this year, it'd be amazing, to be honest with you. And I think with how things are at the moment, because I don't know what you lads might be able to remember a bit further back about this stuff, but have we ever had injuries like we've had over the past 3 years? You know, like to big players. I know, like you can go back to the 84 UEFA Cup final and all that big boy. I'm talking about, you know, not in living memory, and even the fans in the last, say, 5, 6, 7 years. Because I don't remember us ever being depleted as much as we are right now.
You know, I mean, we've always had injuries, but the main players, what you call the main players, it's normally just one of them out at a time, isn't it? You know, you remember Kane used to roll his ankle once a year.
Yeah.
And it was time for Sonny to step up, and he did.
Yeah.
You know, but they were never out both at the same time, were they? Or I can't remember it, if they were.
Maybe, but not very often.
No.
Anyway, if it ever happened.
I mean, this is why I feel a little bit sorry for Frank, because you look, there's Maddison out, walk straight into our first team at the moment. Kulusevski's out, sort of walks. Well, he would walk straight in there now because there's no bloody kudos. But you know, I mean, but apart from that, our midfield is shocking. This is the worst midfield I've ever seen Tottenham have, I think. Unless you go back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Because we bought kids.
Yeah, there you go.
And we're buying more kids.
You know, I mean,
Mental.
when I was growing up, you know, we had Glenn Hoddle in the midfield. Say no more. Say no more. You know, but our greatest players have always come from the midfield. Hoddles, Gascoignes, Ginolas, Gareth Bell. You know, we've always had a classy midfielder. We ain't got one. Not one.
Mm.
You know, I mean, and I can remember when I used to go quite a bit, there'd always be a player that you'd pay your money to go and see. Like when I was a kid, it was Glenn Hoddle. Then it was Gaza. Then it was Gareth, you know, Ginola, Gareth Bell.
But even then, Sheriff, we had midfielders that would always do a good job, good professionals. You know, Steve Sedgley, David Howells.
Yes.
You know, good, solid midfielders who would do a good job for you. Now we are relying on Bergvall and Gray and Bentancur, who's never been the same since he got injured. And our best player, our best midfielder, is a guy that's on loan. We're not even going to sign him probably. Is scary. Our midfield's terrible.
Yeah. It's like you said, Nigel, there was always that flair player. There was always that flair one. But there was always your sort of the ones that did the dirty work as well.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, we had players that did the dirty work. We had players that had flair. You know, the players did the dirty work to give the ball to the players that had the flair, and they were the players that got you up off your seat. Do you know what I mean? Not necessarily the ones that were going and winning the ball and giving it, even they were doing just as an important job, you know, but we've always had flair players, you know, and there's as much flair in this team as a firework being lit on November the 5th, and the match went out before it got there.
Yeah.
Got no chance, mate. Honestly. Honestly.
Don't sum up, though, the state of our club, that our favourite players are defenders.
Yeah.
If you ask every Tottenham fan who your favourite player is now, everyone will say Van der Ven or Romero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sums up the club.
You listen to Steve Perriman, what he says. He said, my job was to win the ball back and give it to Glenn. That was his job. Yeah. Win the ball back, give it to Glenn. Make things happen.
Yeah, but Wanyama said the same thing. Wanyama said
Phil.
my job was to win the ball and then pass it to the more creative players. And
Yeah.
and what's his name's job was that as well. Oh gosh, Mr. Wilson Palacios.
Yeah.
His job was
Yeah.
to win the ball back here and then give the ball to the flair players. That's their role in the team. It's no different to Paulinho. That's his job. Win the ball back and just let the flair players take over.
Got no flair. That's the problem.
That's it.
There's no nothing at the moment, is there? You know, there's no flair players, pragmatic football. You know, I think we'd all agree that that's what happened. What I want to know is, and perhaps you lads, and just going back to the Bournemouth game a little bit, sorry from swaying from subject to subject, people. I just ask things as they come into my head as we're having conversation. Bournemouth the other night, for 20 minutes, we're away from home, playing half-decent football, creating a few bits and pieces going on, and it was okay. What I would call it was okay. We was having, whether we had the players or not, we was having a little go. Yeah? 20 minutes gone, it was like someone had gone, right, you lot off. I'm putting a defensive lot on there that are all going to get behind the ball. And it just changed from what was quite nice football away from home, you know. Don't get me wrong, still giving it away and that, but we created a few bits and bobs. And then after 20 minutes, it just went bang, gone. It was just like, why is that, chaps? What, you know, when you're showing that you can do it, why are we going from that to sort of nothing in between and going back to almost 10 behind the ball, 9 behind the ball? What's that all about?
I think the players get scared, mate. I think as soon as they give the ball away, which happens a hell of a lot, man. I've never known a Tottenham team give the ball away so much. Every time we go forward, there's a loose pass in there and the other team get it. But I think we just get frightened. As soon as they get the ball, we just panic and all retreat. Whether that's drilled into from the manager, I don't know.
Yeah, but Sheriff, wasn't that happening last season? That was happening last season. That was happening before last season, that the players were shirking responsibilities. And at the moment there's a bit of pressure on them, they crack. Because we've seen this multiple times. Not just the players that are in the team now, but over the years we've seen that multiple times where the team has just cracked on the pitch. And so I quoted this on Big Up Hasbro TV. I've just been on there, and sorry I'm late, guys. But I'm going to quote. I'm going to quote Jose Mourinho. Different managers, same players, same results. You can swap the managers all you like, but if you buy the players of the same quality and the same level, don't be surprised if you get the same results that you had before. And I'm going to say this, what Tottenham do, is they get rid of a lot of deadwood, but they end up bringing more deadwood to replace the deadwood they just got rid of as well. So they never actually move on as a football club. You're basically just shifting deadwood or future deadwood. Now, the reason I didn't want the kids in the team right now, is because I think they should be able to develop in their own time. But because of the state of the squad, they're actually forced into the squad before they're ready to be put into the squad. Like the Bergvall, look how he's put on a pedestal, but he hasn't really shown anything in the games he's played yet to be put on that pedestal. And this is why I said these players have to earn their respect from me as a fan. I have to see them in the game here, do something consistently to give them praise. I don't just give them praise for the fun of it. I want to see them show something before I give them the adulation that I think they deserve. Now, a lot of our players here aren't like Archie Gray. If I said to you, what exactly does Archie Gray do? What position is actually Archie Gray in? None of you can give me a steady position because we don't know what position he is in, and he's been here for 2 years already. He works hard, I would never say that he doesn't work hard, but at the end of the day, what exactly do you provide to the team?
Yeah. Listen, it's Phil, it's hard when you're a youngster, whatever walk of life it's in, whether you're chucked in at the deep end in your local job, whatever it is, if you haven't got the people around you that can guide you and bring your football on, whether it be in training, whether it be in matches, even simple things, and these fellas should know it. Little triangle patterns of play, even little. We don't see anything. So I just said to the lads, 20 minutes the other night, we looked half decent. Don't get me wrong, we weren't ripping no trees down, but first 20 minutes, at least we seemed to have a little bit of intent.
Yeah.
And then it just goes off, Phil. And I don't get it. Why would you just revert to form when that 20 minutes was not successful, but it actually looked half decent on the pitch? I don't get why you would revert to that back.
Well, one of the reasons is that we just keep giving the ball away.
Yeah.
When we go forward, we can't string two passes together. As soon as someone passes it, and it's not a player, it's all of them. As soon as anybody tries to progress the ball, they give it away. I have never seen us give the ball away so much. Once we get past the halfway line, every pass, even near the halfway line, there's people making square passes straight to a Bournemouth player. And there's something I noticed. It came just as the second half started. We had a throw-in level with the Bournemouth penalty area. So we were attacking.
Yeah.
I think it would have been on our left side. So I think it was Tell took the throw in, threw it back to probably Jed Spence, I'm going to say. He was left back. And within 5 seconds, the ball was back with Polina. With
Vicario.
The keeper, Vicario.
It's almost like we're waiting to concede. We go a goal up, we look quite comfortable, and then suddenly it's almost like, hang on, we're not supposed to be doing. And as soon as we conceded that goal, that was it. We looked done. But for me, both goals for me should have been stopped at source. Jed Spence has got to go and close them down quicker. As much as I like Spence, he's really poor at that. I think closing his winger down, lets crosses come in too easy. I will stick up. There's going to be one player I'm going to stick up for a little bit, and that's Tell, because I have given him so much crap since he joined. And listen, he's not perfect by any means, but at least when he gets the ball, he looks to do something with it. He looks to go forward. It doesn't work all the time for him, but, I respect the fact that he gets it and wants to drive. With so many other players, all they want to do is go back and sideways, and it's just draining to watch.
Yeah.
Go on, Phil. Right, the game yesterday, first and foremost, that second, oh my word, this is coming a trend now. Romero, is so weak and balls coming into the box. This man does not look where the opposition player is when the ball is whipped into the box. I saw it with Ekitike against Liverpool, and I said after that game, I pray that France draw Argentina in the World Cup, just to see Ekitike do this to Romero in the World Cup, because I thought he was so weak. The way he went down was shocking. And against Bournemouth, I watched it again, and I'm thinking, you're the captain on the pitch here. How have you not seen where the opposition player is? How have you allowed that player to get in front of you and get to the ball before you and able to score before you? What are you doing as a defender? How have you allowed this to happen? And this is becoming a trend with him. Even in the last game, where he gave that stray ball away.
Yeah.
You're changing the momentum of the game because of a moment of madness. I looked at him and I thought, you remind me of that character in He-Man. The Ram Man. You know the one who used to ram the wall and thing. That's what he reminds me of, bro. Like a bull in a china shop. That's what he reminds me of, bro. He's just waiting for a matador to wave the flag and go on, mate, go and run at it. That's what I'm looking at with Romero. I'm thinking, you're a world-class liability, dude. And it's too often.
I see. I don't know what you lads think. It's not for me, but I've seen little bits and pieces while we're talking about Romero of when we are struggling in midfield, perhaps he could go in with Polinia as a DM. Do you not see that? I think he'd get wound up too much to play that sort of role. It's not for me. For me, he's a centre half, and he should concentrate on being a world class centre half that he's meant to be. The geezer's won the World Cup, for God's sake. What are we doing here?
Yeah, but also, mate, he's just got banned.
Well, yeah, it's only a one match though, apparently.
Oh, is it?
It's only a one match.
Doesn't that sum the club up though? That we're talking about having to put Romero in midfield because we've not got enough players,
and
because we are so short.
And he's not. Well, I agree with what he put out, mind, but he also, this is something we can move on to, Romero's Instagram post, where he calls out everybody and then edits it the morning after.
Oh, I wonder if he was told.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, put it this way. I watched the Ali Gold video this morning, and he was told they got back from Bournemouth at, say, 1 a.m, and they stayed at the lodge overnight, the 6-star hotel, whatever it is. And in the morning, when they all got up, suddenly his message was edited, and the final bit about people coming down and telling lies and that was deleted.
Taken out, yeah.
Yeah, it was deleted. So I think someone in the club might have said, hey, come on, you can't be saying things like this. But to be honest, right, does anyone want to say anything about what Romero put out, his Instagram post, or?
No. Listen, there's been a lot of people over the past few years in their own ways. Jose to a point, Conte definitely did. Yeah, we still didn't listen. He told us the truth. He was the manager. Whether you agree with how it happened or when he went or when he done it, right? He told the people that didn't accept that this is how Tottenham was being run what was going on.
Yeah.
Whether you apportion that to Levy or whether you apportion it to Enoch or both, right? It will play out in its own time, right? But it's looking like it wasn't just Levy. Enoch are the ones that are still pulling the purse strings. He was just going and do the deals, right? Not that, we lost a lot of players over small amounts of money. But it has to change. Somewhere along the line, you get to the point where, like everyone's been talking about on all channels, it doesn't look like, there is no plan. There is no plan. And until a plan is put in place and fans accept that the likelihood of that is that it's going to take a few years, maybe 4 or 5 years of a tenure of a manager with the backing of the people that employ him to get the best out of what they bring in and to of a level. But again, like we said earlier, our standards have gone so low, we're bartering over a kid from Brazil that's probably never been out of Brazil in his life, over what we're paying for him, and we're paying him $4,000 a week. What are we doing? Come on, chaps, help me out a bit. Help me out, chaps.
Right, let me take this over from the Cookmaster, because I listened to the words of Evita Romero. Big up the Queen in the chat, because she sang a lovely song to me. Don't Cry For Me, Argentina, I believe she sang to me earlier in the daytime. So, I heard the quotes from Romero yesterday. But first and foremost, Romero, if Romero's going to call out the board, please make sure that your performances actually stand up to scrutiny before you do that, because the board can easily call him out for his rubbish performances this season. So, pot kettle black first and foremost. Now, yes, he was right in the way that he said it, but he was wrong in the timing of what he said, because right now, Tottenham need unity when I looked at Thomas Frank here in the summer, I said Thomas Frank will come in and stabilise the club. I was not expecting Tottenham to do anything. This is why I had no expectations on this season. I knew that the amount of games here would take its toll, and injuries would be the consequences of the amount of games, which is why I said the squad wasn't ready for it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So nothing that's happened that surprised me whatsoever with what's been going on. But it doesn't matter where it doesn't matter who the manager is. At some point, yeah, a manager's going to have to come into this club here, right? First and foremost, the board themselves here have to choose what they want. If they want an attacking style of football or a defensive style of football, they can't be in a halfway house here of having one or the other. They have to have. No, they can't be a halfway house. They have to have one or the other, because the way they have no accountability here, right, is like they're in a halfway house. They don't know what they want. And because of they don't know what they want, they can't. There is no plan to implement it. Now, when I look at Thomas Frank here, the way the team is set up is reactive to me. This is why I said before, yeah, they play better away from home, because when teams come onto us here, they give us the space to come in, hit us to hit them in the space and behind. This is what I looked at. So I said, you're a reactive club. You're a reactive team. You actually mirror the club itself. You're reactive. Most teams mirror their manager. Spurs mirror the club themselves. Now, really and truly, there are players in this team here that are, where areas in the pitch here that are deficient, like the left wing. We don't have a good left wing option. We don't have a ball playing number 8. We don't have a left. Well, we just bought this Sousa from the Brazilian Primera, but there's levels between the Brazilian Primera and the Premier League. So this guy's going to have to take time to come over here and acclimatise to this country, get used to the way get used to everything over here. And remember, he's only a teenager himself, so it's just going to take time for him to do.
Yeah.
So we're still at a disadvantage, and yet the owners have come out in September saying that we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But here's January. It's the time we can implement it. Where are they? They go hiding again every time. Every manager we've had, they go hiding. Mourinho had it. Conte had it. Conte, I remember said something about it. Mourinho had it. At the beginning, yeah, Levy was all over him. It's in the documentary. Levy was all over him. At the end, he was on his own. So this is an issue for me. If you're going to be there in the sunlight, yeah, be there in the winter. Don't be coming there shaking your bum when the thing's going good, yeah, and then when the thing's going bad, you're nowhere to be seen. Because that's fair weather to me. But I don't know how you guys take it.
Nige?
I'm just so fed up with this. I mean, I'm probably changing the subject. Just talking about this Sousa kid, you know, I'm just so fed up with us signing players that are understudies. I'm hearing so many people say, oh, yeah, but he can play under a doggy. I want someone to come in and challenge a doggy and get a doggy out of the side.
Agreed.
You know, you got 2 left backs who are willing to fight for their place.
Yeah.
You know, this kid ain't going to play. But as far as Romero goes, I'm in agreement with Phil. I think perform on the pitch, you know, before you start shouting your mouth. Perform on the pitch first. I think what he said was right, but at the same time, if you're not doing it on the pitch, you know, your message isn't going to come across as strong. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. I think, you know, and who was he calling out? Was he calling out the board, or was he calling out some of the players he plays with? Does he think some of the players are shit that he's playing with?
Well, no. One of the sentences he said something about we never hear from the people we should be hearing with, and then when you do, it's just a load of lies. So from what I took out of it is when he signed his contract, because he's just signed a new contract, he was given promises,
maybe,
about where the club was going.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring in Mbappe and, you know, players not on that level, but, you know,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
We're going to be ambitious and we're going to do this. And all he sees is a bloody 18-year-old from Brazil coming in. I mean, what's he meant to think? You know, so Was he right? Yes, of course he was, because everyone should call out Enoch at every opportunity for the way they've run this club for the last 25 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so, but should you do it when you're an employee of the company? Probably not, to be honest. Because let's face it, the way we're going, people like Romero and Van der Ven, they'll be off in the summer. There will be.
And this is why the board's got to come out, I think, Mark. Not just to tell the fans, but, you know, it gives the player. I know, you know, they're probably being told whatever that we don't get told. Do you know what I mean? But that's why I think it's so important for someone to come out and tell everyone what the plan is for Spurs. Even if it's, we're trying to sell the club. Whatever. I'm not bothered what they say, but it's so silent. Yeah, since Vinay said whatever he said back in the day when he first joined. Ain't seen him since. Where's Lang? Been on holiday, come back. I don't, you know, where's the scouting team? What's going on? Who's leading? Ins and outs. Who's doing that?
Well, quick, Master, I've had a theory about Tottenham Hotspurs, and I don't know if any of you guys agree with me, but I'm going to say this here, right? Do you think it actually suits Tottenham to have a plan? And I'm going to say this now, right? If they don't have a plan, they can't be held accountable, Cookmaster. So if they can't be held accountable, they can basically charge the fans whatever they like here, because they've got nothing to basically say, well, we're aiming for anything. So wouldn't that suit the club not to have a plan?
It may well be, Phil. It may just have got to the stage where, like on many YouTube channels we've seen over the last year and longer, perhaps what bothers me is more than anything else is I think the opportunity has been there to sell, hasn't it? Whether the price was right or not, or whatever, I don't know the intricate details of it, but. Then they came out and said, well, we want to be part of this club. You know, offers were refused. We're not selling. We are, you know, we own this club. We want to win things. We're going to do this, that, and the other. Nothing. Nothing.
I think over the years, the reputation under Enoch here, footballing wise, has been tarnished, because you have to remember, this is the first club, and I keep saying these 3-word records, and they're still here. The first club to go a whole transfer window without signing a player. The first club here to go 510 days without a signing. The first club to go 72 days without a manager. They're still
512 days it was, really.
Footballing records. So these have a lasting effect. That these actually are what people see, outside perspectives that people see of Tottenham Hotspurs. So managers and players are looking at the club and thinking, why would I want to go to a club that's got no direction and no sense of purpose? You're not working towards anything, so you're basically not going anywhere as a player. So why would a good player want to risk that? And even now, when you're looking at the turmoil, you know, if you're a player looking to come into Spurs right now, and you see that Paratici, the technical director, isn't sure whether he's coming or going, how can you even commit to Tottenham as a player? You can't, because you don't even know if the technical director is going to be there at the end of the transfer window. So there's nothing there for a player looking at that and thinking, I'm coming into a stable environment. There's nothing stable here.
Can I just add to what Philly said?
Of course.
Right, it was 512 days, Philly, without signing, right? And it couldn't have been at a worse time. It is when we desperately needed signings. It was just, I think it was around the time, I think it was the year after Chelsea had won the league.
Right. I think so.
Poch had been saying about the rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
And we was up there as a team because we'd finished 3rd and 2nd that year, the year Chelsea won it. And we just needed that little push. And I know it also coincided with getting a new stadium sorted and whatever. But even so, with that little push, we would have won the league.
Yeah, but the thing is, Sheriff here, right? momentum, I've said this before, momentum is a powerful thing. You can't turn momentum off and on like a tap. And this is the problem, when we finished second year, we had the momentum and we had the impetus at that point. We could have signed those players here that we miss out on now. We could have signed them when we were right up there. But we didn't take the opportunity, and that opportunity is gone. So if you're chasing opportunity, you're chasing the dragon. That opportunity is long gone. You can never get that back. And that's the disappointment of going through those days without a signing, is that we killed whatever momentum we had at that point, and basically done a reset because we stood still for that year, and then went backwards because everybody else here bought players and actually went forward, whilst Tottenham stayed the same. And so it's all good that now the stadium is, well, what they say is the stadium is giving Tottenham money to buy the better quality players, but that horse is already bolted because we should have done it then. You can't, like I said, momentum is something that's powerful within football.
Yeah. The thing is, when Poch was here, it was like we had the plug in the sink and the tap was on. And the water had filled up in the sink and it was virtually overflowing the top. But then we switched the tap off and pulled the plug out. And the water's been slowly draining out the sink since.
Right,
we're a long way from them days now. A long.
Agree. It's a snowball effect. What they call it is a snowball effect. And from that one moment, it's gone over the years. It's just keep growing and growing and growing. But this also leads me to why I'm going to say this, and you're not going to like me, Sheriff. I don't want Pochettino back, because in a part of my mind says that Poch will have it in his back of his head that these people will stab him in the back again. And that's something that you don't really want to be. So you can't really trust anybody because you've been here before, and you've actually been slighted. So straight away, that's going to be in his mind of, will they back me? Will they when the time comes and I've got my 5-year project, because Poch works on a 5-year cycle, will they actually support me for all those 5 years? And if they're not, then what's the point of me going back there? That's what I would be looking at if I was Poch. But
do you know what I do worry about? Is if he comes back, big if, right? The thing I'm excited about is he will unite the fan base immediately. No questions asked. He will unite all of us because everybody loves him.
Yeah, but you'd be comparing the second one on the first one. That's the thing.
No,
how long for? That's the thing.
Right. Yeah, this is it. But this is the thing I worry about. I'm worried about him coming back with Enoch still here. Because put it this way, what I've got in my head, but what actually happens, say he doesn't get the backing and we don't spend the money on the players, I believe that, I hope in my mind that the fans will look at the board rather than calling for Poch's head again. Because Poch has got money in the bank. Let's get this in there. He's got plenty of credit in the bank to play with. And I'd like to think that if we weren't doing so well, if he did come back, that the fingers would point that way and not down there at the dugout. You know what I mean?
I'd love Poch back as well, but I just think under this ownership, I actually think as much as we all wanted Levy out, I actually think if Levy was still here, I think there'd be a better chance for Pochettino. Because I think Levy and Pochettino obviously had a very good relationship. They still do. I don't think Levy particularly wanted to sack Pochettino. I think that that call come from over his head. And without Levy there, I think Pochettino wouldn't have someone to back him in that boardroom. And I don't think he'd last long. Sadly, as soon as we start losing games, he'd be under real pressure.
Agreed.
Because as fans, we would turn because it's what we do. No matter who we love. I know you wouldn't, Sheriff, but if we lost like 5 or 6 games out of 7 or 8, the fans would turn because it's what we do. It's what we do best.
Do you
I
think-
agree, Nigel.
Go on,
Sorry.
Go on.
I was gonna say, I agree, Nigel. So I'm going to use the question I used the other night with the Cookmeister and the Sheriff. I'm going to say to you, Nigel, right? A project manager cannot work at Spurs here because the fans pay too much here each week here to be able to sit through a proper rebuild where you have to strip the whole thing back and by slowly, basically, so that the manager can build his philosophy across. So the fans themselves here don't want to pay for that kind of, and I agree with that concept here because as a fan, I wouldn't want to pay the same as Arsenal or Chelsea fans here to go through a rebuild or a project. But the Spurs themselves can't do a win now manager because the club itself here can't bring in the players of the quality that the win now manager needs to be successful. So now you're in a catch-22 here. What do you actually do now? Because to me, the best option for me would be to sell the club because they're the two type of managers out there and both of them do not work underneath your ownership.
No, I agree. And as I said earlier, to spend the kind of money that we would need to be in a position to challenge for honours, we're going to have to spend a good £1 billion to be up there or in the conversation to challenge the likes of Cities, the Liverpools, the Arsenals. And I don't see this ENIC doing it. But then who would do it? My only concern is whoever takes over, are they going to be interested in the club or is it going to be all about what that stadium can bring them?
I've got to the point, Nigel, where I don't care who takes over, to be fair. I've seen enough of ENIC over the last 25 years. I've seen enough of the way that they've run the club. I've seen enough of them having the opportunity to kick on, but they don't kick on. They're happy to stay where they are. I've seen enough of them just charging the fans exuberant prices for shoddy products. I've seen enough of it over the years to say, you know what, I've had enough. I don't care who takes over in the end. You can give it to Mickey Mouse and Walt Disney if you want.
I agree, but the fear is whoever takes over might be even worse.
It might be, but it might be better. It might be better as well. You have to look at it both sides, isn't it? It could be it's the glass half full and the glass half empty. I'd rather take the glass half full approach and think, well, the next owner could come in. They could be like a Newcastle owner, or they could be worse. Yeah, like you said, it could be worse. But I'd rather think of it as a good owner coming in.
It's a risk we want to take in it as fans,
right? I've got to that point where I'm ready to roll the dice with any ownership right now over ENIC because I just don't like the way that they operate. And I don't like the fact that, like you say, as an organisation, right, you hire Thomas Frank here, right? It's your responsibility to make sure that Thomas Frank here is given given what he's needed, the resources needed to be successful. That's on you. It's on you to come out there and support your manager when he needs you the most. Like now, where we know that he's in trouble, where are ENIC to back him up? They're not there. And this is why I want these people have to go for me. Because look at Lang, I've been after Lang for all summer, and for a while I've been after Johan Lang. How was he promoted after a failure of the window? That is the wrong premise for a football club. That's telling me that failure is acceptable at a football club, and that's coming. That's not. And that's from Vinay and that. So straight away, after seeing that, I was already on tenterhooks for this January. So like, this January is not going to be any different. As long as this man is still at this football club, I don't carry any hope for the football club bringing in the quality players because I look at this man and I think you are the epitome of incompetent, and watching you at work at Tottenham Hotspurs is a definition of insanity. I expect you to screw up, bro.
Yeah, but what I always say about Lang is look how much fuss Aston Villa kicked up when he left. Absolute zero. They were glad to see him go. So that tells me he's not that good anyway. And he's proven that since he's been here. You know, for a start, we only hear from him when we win something. So on that premise, we won't hear from him for another 18 years.
Well, when
now
you're
being his...
a new one.
Yeah, you know, that's the only time we've heard from him. I think it was him that came out when we won the Europa League.
We'll hear from him after the transfer window shuts, and they talk about what a great signing Sosa's been and how amazing he's going to be in 5 years.
We tried.
Well, I think if we go another 20 days and we don't get a certain amount of quality in to appease the fans, to appease the injury problem, to make the football look a little bit better, to have maybe not necessarily leaders, but a couple of adults on the pitch that may be able to influence the game, let's say, a bit more. I think if that don't happen, the fans are going to get on their back big style. I really think it's come to that now. I mean, us lot, we've seen it all over the last 25 years with Spurs and ENIC. Some of us have seen before that as well, To me, I thought Thomas Frank was going to be not necessarily the man, but I thought he would come in, help the younger players, coaching-wise. I thought we would look better on the pitch, not necessarily, we might still be pragmatic, but when we did get the ball, we'd be knocking it about and, doing our thing on the counter-attack, whatever you want to call it, that way, going that way. But we just don't seem to have anything. And I think we're so, I said earlier, we're not going to change anything quickly. But, there's surgery to be done on this pitch for this season in this transfer window. And I seriously think if we get to the end of January and we haven't added another at least 2 more proper that go into the first team, it's going to kick off. It won't happen, Nigel. We all know it probably won't happen.
No.
So it's like, who would you sign? Because I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, who would do well for Spurs right now?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
I think
but if this is true,
yeah, it's not.
I've got up here now.
Absolutely crazy.
We should be all over that. He walks.
He won't come to us, though, Mark. He'll never come to us. Chelsea,
yes, I know. But Chelsea treated him like crap, didn't they?
Well, he was their captain, wasn't he?
Right, he's still Chelsea boy, isn't it?
Well,
but would you take like
there was someone in the sorry for I'm not being rude. I can't remember who put it in the chat. Someone like Gomez at Wolves.
Good.
Right? He's a number 8, a proper number 8. He can tackle, so that helps Polidia, and he passes the ball forward. Right? Put him in your number 8. I'm sure Wolves, right, this geezer, I'm sure you could probably go and nick him out of there for 30 mil. I don't know. Right? But in the grand scheme of things, the money that's being played for very average footballs at the moment, I think if you go and get someone like that, at least it shows a bit of intent. He might not be the best number 8 in the world, yeah, but at least he can pass the ball forward.
The thing is, though, mate, the next signings, right, we've signed this kiddie now from Brazil. The next signings better walk straight into our first team. Otherwise,
anyone walks into our first team, don't they? At the moment, we're so bad.
Well, yes, but you know what I mean. Established players that come in and improve us immediately.
So would you take, say, a Chris Wood? I heard his name mentioned a few times.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah, I would.
And that sums up how bad we are, that we would take Chris Wood.
Yeah.
Because I'd take it as well.
Yeah.
We're playing that way, chucking crosses in the box. We might as well have a big target man in that.
Yeah, I agree with that. He needed a hold up forward and the target man in the summer. But what I was gonna say, right, I'm gonna say this now, I don't like the way you said that, Sheriff. Well, I want 3 players that walk into the first team. No. I want 3 players who play in a specific position, bought for a specific reason to go into the first team. I don't want those 3 players being bought by the football club, and they have no position or no rhyme or reason to why the club brought them in. Because this is what happened in the summer. They just bought 4 players and said, "Here, Thomas Frank, work with that." There was no left winger position. There was no ball playing midfielder. There was no left back. It was just bang, there's 4 players, mate, get on with it. And that, to me, the spat of Tottenham Hotspur with a scattergun approach. And I said that in January, and I said that in the summer. That is a scattergun approach of just, here you go, mate, get on with it. And that's why I say, it's not about the name of the player, but about the position that of looking at the squad, looking at the weaknesses that the team has, and buying accordingly. buy where you're weakest and fix that position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Mark. Was you going to say something?
No.
Sorry, mate.
I agree. Well, when I said I want players to walk straight in, I want us to buy a left winger, say, and he comes straight in.
Right.
A right-sided player, and he competes with Kudos when he comes back. You know, I'd also like us to get another left back. So when your doggy is eventually fit, he's got competition. This is what you need throughout the squad. For our squad, we need improvements. But for the good players that we have got,
need bloody heart surgery, Mark.
they need competition to make them better.
Agreed.
Because the way you make players better is competition. If you know that you're not guaranteed to start every game, you look at Romero. He goes off his boil, puts bloody Instagram posts out, has crap games. He knows his name's first on the team sheet next week because he's the bloody captain. You know? What's Danzo got to do to get a game? What's Dragosin got to do to get a game? You know what I mean?
Sheriff, yeah. I'm going to take a quote from your manager. Your manager, Pochettino, yeah, at the time, Dele Alli was still a young boy. All right, the year that we didn't sign anybody, he actually said, yeah, I wanted to sign somebody to provide competition for Dele Alli, because if Dele Alli has got no competition, yeah, he'll go complacent and he'll go stale.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs competition for places. That summer Spurs bought no one, yeah, and Dele Alli went what? Complacent and went stale because there was no competition for places. And that's why I've always said that, yeah, you need to have competition for places, because otherwise the players become complacent, yeah, and they don't know their place. They can come out and talk rubbish in the press and not put it out on the pitch. And that's that kind of precedence. So
yeah.
I agree with you. They need to have competition for places, but before they have competition for places, they need to sort out the problematic positions, because otherwise, yeah, right, teams will just exploit the weaknesses that we have, and we're not actually improving anything. We're basically just doing like for life. We need to sort out the problematic areas. You need to get that ball playing number 8, because that ball playing number 8, yeah, allows Tottenham to bring the ball from the defence to the attack. Because right now, yeah, we can't even go on the front foot. Like I said, we're reactive, because we don't have that 8 yet to control the tempo of the game, right? The left wing is null and void, because whoever's out there ends up giving the ball away. Odebear should be coming on for the last 10, 15 minutes in the end of the game. He shouldn't be relied upon from the beginning of the game to be that number 1 left winger, because he's not ready for it yet. Left back, like I said, Spence is a right back playing on the left-hand side because we didn't buy anybody on the left-hand side. So we're short in that position, knowing that we've got all these games coming up. So again, bad planning from the football club. You could also say that they knew AFCON was coming, that Sarr would be on his way to AFCON, and so would Basuma, if Basuma was in the team. So the club knew all this beforehand. They just didn't care. They either didn't care, or two, they were so complacent that they thought it didn't matter and would be all right. Now, you should have gauged the amount of games that we had and realised here that there's a massive chance here that we're going to be depleted at some point in the season. But again, they don't do this. It's not until something bad happens, something drastic happens, that Tottenham actually do something about it. Like I said, they're very reactive and not proactive. It's like they're waiting for something to happen badly before they can do something about it.
Yeah, big up, Phil. Just to say, Nigel's had to drop off, chaps. Family stuff got going on, so he's had to drop off. So big up to Nigel. Please make sure his link's pinned at the top. Please go over and smash a like to Nigel, giving up his time, like Phil, to come on here tonight. Phil, it's hard work, mate, isn't it? At the moment, it really is hard work. We just don't have any direction. I don't think, it's almost like the hope is pulled out of us, Phil. If there's not one bit of news one day, there's something else the next day that just almost seems to, rather than lift you, it just brings you down a little bit more. I don't know. I don't want to be like that as a Spurs fan, Phil. I want to be talking about the good times. Do you know what I mean?
Man, I feel for you. You know, it's like, do you know what it reminds me of? Yeah, I've always said this. Yeah, Spurs have more drama than EastEnders. You know, when the soap awards handed out just to EastEnders, it's the best soap in Britain. Yeah, that needs to be sent back from EastEnders. Yeah, given to Tottenham Hotspurs, because really and truly, I'm expecting a drum roll every single week, because it's just like one drama to another one. Where if it's not the technical director's leaving, or if it's not this manager's leaving, or something always happens at Tottenham Hotspurs. It's never a dull moment. So it's like a soap opera, really.
Yeah. Right. I'll just butt in here a minute.
Go on, Mark.
Do me a favour. I pinned this at the top of the chat. I pinned this for you, Philly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can you all get over and sub to Philly? He's got a new channel about games and movies.
Yeah.
TV.
Go on, Phil. Tell everyone about your channel. Go on, you've got 30 seconds.
Right, we've got a brand new channel, BMGT. And me and Corey, me and Haz did an episode on Monday about Digimon. I'm hoping to have the Queen, Ellie on the show soon, if I can tie her down. Naughty Minx.
Nice.
But thank you very much, guys, for having me on. Sorry I was late. But love hanging with you guys. Love hanging with two Marks.
Phil, you're never late. It don't matter if there's 5 minutes of the show left. If you've got the link, pal, you come in and have your say, mate. All right, Sheriff, have you got anything else that you'd like to add, mate?
What
scores on the doors for the three of us for the Villa game? How about that? And in the chat, go on in the chat, give us your Villa scores.
There's one other subject that I was going to that I was just going to bring up. Cupgate.
Right.
Now, how irresponsible it is it of our manager to be seen walking about the pitch with a cup of coffee with a certain team's logo on it? I refuse to say that name, but we all know why it was, because they were probably left in the away dressing room from the weekend. But now, me personally, I think he was set up to do it. I think he was set up. So I made him a cup of coffee. Now, you can't tell me, even if these things are in that long bloody plastic thing, does it look like one of them cups you just pull out of one of them little long plastic things, you know, what the water cups normally come in? And he always says he has an espresso before the game. Yeah. And there he is walking about the pitch with that bloody crest on it. So, to me, he was set up by somebody. But it's his stupid fault for not realising what was on there.
Yep, always check. Always check.
Where's the Spurs? What's his name team? Where's the Spurs PR team to advise him and to look at the cup before he even had that, before he had the thing?
Exactly.
Where were they?
Well, when that image first got released, I honestly thought it was AI, because the AI these days is that incredible that, you know, I mean, you can change things and it looks just as real as a real photograph.
True.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought it was AI. Yeah. And then it was, oh no, it's real. Them cups were left in the dressing room, you know, from that lot being down there on Saturday.
Yeah.
But come on, innit? Where's his advisors to say, you realise what's on there? Don't go out there. Just chuck that in the bin and we'll get you another one.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's where my viewpoint is. Yeah, it was stupid of Thomas Frank not to look at the cup himself. But then, where were the people from Tottenham Hotspur to say to him, "Don't have the cup in your hand"? That would be my takeaway from that.
Yeah.
You know, and another question is, are we that bloody tight that we can't bring our own cups? You know what I mean?
It's true, isn't it? It's true.
You can get a sleeve of them cups for a couple of quid.
They were trying to get that off the Sousa deal, mate. That's why there was no cups at the time. They got that couple of quid off.
And plus, they need that money for compensations for the managers anyway. They keep sacking, so therefore,
Well, there is that, I suppose.
It is, isn't it? It is what it is. It is what it is. Well, great show as always. I'm sure we're going to be on after the Villa game.
I would say.
Go on.
No, we're playing. I would probably say we'll let everybody else have their go, because there's no point going on when there's 1,000,001 channels going.
Big up, Mario.
You know, I mean,
we'll work it out anyway. Just hit your notification bells. Make sure you've got those on.
I would probably say Monday or Tuesday.
Right, Monday or Tuesday. Probably. One of us might jump on and do a little bit. You know what I mean? In between, it just depends what's going on in our lives. Thanks you all, everyone, for being here. We really appreciate it. Appreciate all your support. Like, subscribe. Same to Philly, please, pinned at the top. Same to Nige at Pure Coys, pinned at the top. If you can smash them a sub as well, we'd appreciate it.
Hang on a minute. We ain't giving our we haven't given our predictions.
Yeah, start talking away, don't we? I don't mind. I'll go first. 2-1 to Villa. Sorry. That's where I am. 2-1 to Villa.
Go on, Philly.
I'm saying 3-1 Villa. I think Villa will dominate the midfield because you only got Archie Gray and Paulinho in there, and they've got big people like Onana, McGinn, Tillemans. I reckon they'll dominate the midfield, so I think it's going to be 3-1 to Aston Villa.
Mark?
I can't do it. I just want us to have a cup run. Just win the damn thing.
Fair dues. Fair dues. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go. My only hope is that Villa, they're third in the league. So let's hope they sort of prioritise the league. You know, because they're in Europe as well. You know, and they've got a good chance of winning that Europa League. So let's hope they sort of take their, play a bit of a weakened team. Well, we can't play a weakened team, are we? Our team's weak enough already.
Yeah.
But I'm going for 2-1 Tottenham.
Yeah. Fair do. So I've got a 2-1 to Tottenham, a 2-1 to Villa, and a 3-1 to Villa. I'm sure you'll all come back and hold us on that. Thanks very much, everyone, again, for being here. Thanks to Phil again. Mark, expert job as usual. Thanks to everyone. We'll see you all soon. Hit them notification bells, please. And over to you, Mark. We are gone. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Show.